Hello, everybody. It is I, Trisket, yet again, and I just watched Superman by James Gunn. I watched James Gunn's Superman, and I liked it. I really, really liked it. It does have a lot of issues regarding like continuity. As a film, it is very much a mixed bag. Very much a mixed bag. Um, like to get some of the problems out of the way a lot of the technology works is a little wonky. There are certain details in how the technology is described and working differently from how it's presented. And a lot of this technology is just absurd, frankly. Uh, and there are some scenes that seem like the point was rushed towards. Like they didn't take their time in a necessary sort of way. Like there are certain scenes that feel really, really rushed. Like they were trying to get the script out really fast and then get to filming. So, like, there's definitely some pretty awkward problems with the movie. Um, like there's one especially when uh Luthor is trying to turn the public against Superman, and I'll explain this as spoiler free as I can. And he manages to succeed a little too much because the scene not only happens instantaneously, like the public turns on Superman instantly. It's ridiculous. And not only that, but the way that the scene or and the surrounding scenes are put together, it feels kind of out of order. It was really weird. Like honestly, that scene alone had me worried for the movie, like the entire movie, because that scene was just so bad. Like it was rushed. It was rushed. And I'm sure that some smarter, more observant person than I could notice some of these problems and really expand upon why they're bad. But overall, I would say that I enjoyed the movie, and the main reason for that is because of the characters. I love the way that the characters are written and portrayed by the actors, especially. Like David Cornsweet, fantastic job. I initially had misgivings about him because he seemed like just a guy, but in doing so, in selecting someone that is effectively just a guy, they sort of reinforce the thematic element of the film that Superman is ultimately just a man. He could be anyone, kind of like Spider-Man in a way. It could be anyone under the mask. But it is ultimately the fact that he's that normal guy that sort of sells the idea that, anyone can be Superman if they just try hard enough. Obviously, powers set aside. We don't get a lot of time with Clark Kent as a character, so we don't really get to see much of that difference between Clark and Superman. But it is a decent portrayal, and they have some neat little lore tidbits in there. They're silly, but you know, their inspiration came from the silliness of the comic books, like with the hypno glasses to trick everyone. That's kind of silly, but it's cute. And David's performance as Superman is pretty fantastic because when he's not in front of everybody, he's just a normal guy. When he's lecturing the villains, he's a beacon of hope. When he's, you know, down in the dumps because someone got hurt or, he got hurt or whatever, he's, in pain and he feels fear and all that stuff. And it's just a spectacular performance all around. But more so than that, the guy playing Luthor, I forget his name, but he did a fantastic job bringing to life someone that is that egotistical. He's looking down on everybody. Everybody. he hates. And he does some like spectacularly evil things. He's one of those characters that you'd actually really really love to hate because he's willing to get his own hands dirty, but he uses his goons to do it for him more often than not. But when he wants to make a point, he will be more direct if he can afford to. But because he's going up against Superman, he has to be a pussy ass bitch and hide behind all kinds of things. Like, he has to hide behind the power of social media. He has to hide behind, kryptonite. He has to hide behind all these like weapons and tools and technologies. And you really hate the fucker. And the performance by still drawing a blank on his name. I'm sorry, man. Really sold just how much of a bastard this guy is. So yeah, those two really stole the show. But there's a lot of other really good performances from the other characters. Green Lantern, the Kents, Mr. Terrific. Unfortunately, there are some characters that are a little lackluster, but they're not terrible necessarily. They're performed well, and they serve their function in the plot. Sometimes a little too well. Like I said, things do get a little too convenient. It's kind of what you would expect a James Gunn movie to be at this point. Lots of old-fashioned music, great cast and performance. Characters are kind of a mixed bag, but mostly pretty good. The plot is a mess at times, admittedly. But overall, I would say that I like the movie. I like it a lot. And that's all I've got for you today. I'll see you around. Have a good night. Be safe. Bye, everyone.